Hey, Lauren here. I'm asking for a couple of minutes of your time, please. This quietly spoken audio is my latest iTunes podcast about how to sleep and how to create your own sleep ritual. And yes, the introduction to my podcast is presented by my dear special friend, Dimitri of Massage ASMR, who has supported me in so many ways over several years now. Feel free to download this from iTunes, or you can also ask me for a Dropbox link. I love what I do with all my heart. Today, I'm plucking up the courage and I'm asking you for your help. I've written a book about how to be happy. It's a workbook which teaches the reader through various exercises how to learn to be happy and how to develop a happiness practice. The book has taken me literally thousands of hours, full-time, over a 10-month period. Yes, early mornings, through the day, and many, many late nights. I think that this is the greatest creation I've ever achieved, apart, of course, of my 4 beautiful children. It has been a massive project, much bigger than my initial expectations. The book has been basically finished, apart from editing, for months now. I have attempted through various means, endless Lamington drives, only joking, to raise the funds myself for the final professional edit, and I have not succeeded. So the book is gathering a little dust. I'm here asking you to help me. Through you supporting me at patreon.com, you can help me to fund the final edit of my self-published book with my awesome editor. Thank you so much for considering, and thank you for watching my videos. And here is, for you, my latest audio on how to sleep. Enjoy and be well.
Welcome to the podcast Being Well with Lauren. You're listening to Lauren as she shares her personal stories and meditations on well-being and life in a soft-spoken voice. Please support Lauren at www.patreon.com/Lauren Ostrowski Fenton.
Hey, how are you? I have just poured myself a jug of coffee and I'm having that moment, moment where the kids have all been dropped off and I've got home and gone through a little bit of email. Oh, listen to that sound. Email stuff. So I've got a moment now to sit down and speak with you. And speaking with you is one of the highlights of my day. I feel as I turn on the mic and I reach for my coffee, I feel a sense of peace. So thank you for joining me. Today we're going to look at how to fall asleep and how to sleep. Yesterday I looked at how to cope with anxiety. These topics are really broad-ranged and need to cover so much information. So really we should be doing courses rather than half-hour podcasts. But we can only do what we can do. So yesterday I talked about anxiety, and today I'm going to talk about how to fall asleep. So why don't you go and get yourself a nice, cozy, warm beverage, and let's start. It is beautiful and hot. As you know, I'm a mum of 4 young kids. My eldest is 13 and my youngest is 9 and 9. Yes, twins. And my eldest struggles to sleep. She really struggles to sleep. And we've tried, if I said we've tried everything, I think I'd be underestimating what we've actually tried. We've tried everything and everything and everything to help my daughter fall asleep. I've had stages to where I've struggled to sleep. So to explore how to fall asleep, I'm going to look at our physical side and I'm going to look at our mindful side, the side that includes our spirit and our mind, our brain. To be able to fall asleep, we need the space in our life to allow our mind and body to drift off to sleep. So the answer is creating space for sleep. Our body is not going to shut down and our mind is not going to shut down if there isn't the space for it to do so. So I want to really emphasize that point. Do you want to sleep? Do you want to be able to fall asleep? Do you want to be able to fall asleep every single night? The body needs to reach that point and the mind needs to reach that point where it lets go, where it feels comfortable to let go and fall into that state of sleep. So how do we do that? How do we create the space to fall asleep? Let's look at that. Let's look at how to create space. I talk about creating space a lot in my videos and my podcasts, and I think that it's a really important point. One of the things I do as a human being is at times I have an air of desperation. I may be desperate for rest, or I may be desperate for a break, or I may be desperate for time to create the creations I do, podcasts, videos, etc. Or I may have an air of desperation about seeing a friend. I truly feel that one of my limiting factors in my life is that time or that space in my life where I become desperate. The desperation seeks out an energy sends out an energy to the universe, saying and bringing back to me that desperate need, that desperate want. And a part of that is me sending out the message to the universe that I do not really believe that I'm worth that space, that I'm worth that engagement, that I'm worth that time. Desperation, need, or craving very rarely brings what we deserve. Why am I saying that? Why did I make that point of my limitation? Bringing it back to sleep. If you desperately want to sleep, you desperately need to sleep, it's unlikely or less likely you're going to fall asleep. It's about creating space, creating that situation, that environment where we have a level of comfort. And how do we do that? Yesterday I talked at the beginning of the podcast about creating a support network. With many of these videos, always bring it back to basics. There is no silver bullet for happiness. There is no door that you can open and shut and go, da-da, I have happiness. I've reduced my anxiety. I've fallen in love. I'm now experiencing a balanced life. It doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. Balance is about that. Exactly that. It's a process, like layers of an onion, one layer at a time. Not a miracle, not an open and shut door, not suddenly, oh, I've seen the light. Guys, this is a learning process requiring practice. You practice the piano, you practice the scales, you practice playing tennis, your serve, you practice these skills. One of the first steps is have your professional network. I'm going to say that again. One of the first steps is having your professional network. Do you have a psychologist you can refer to? Do you have a good GP? Do you have 2 or 3 friends that you engage with regularly that you can trust, that are mentally stable, mindful, and you can trust? You may need other professionals, so have your professional list and have it handy. Point 1, always, always, always. When we talk about how to fall asleep, it's kind of putting the horse before the cart in a lot of ways. Sleep is not just about sleep. Sleep is about happiness. Sleep is about calming down. Sleeping is about decluttering. It's about so much else. I know my daughter struggles to sleep because she has stuff on her mind. So essentially we need to go back and look at the stuff, and then we need to look at the processing of the stuff. Sometimes we can't do a whole lot about the stuff in our life, but we can look at our processing techniques. As a counsellor, when I counsel couples, it's often not about the issue they're discussing, but the way they process the issue. So what's your processing skills that lead up to sleep? How do you process anxiety? How do you process time management? How do you process communication with your friends? How do you process the small stuff that happens each day, the little trivial disagreements, etc.? How are your processing skills? I'm probably frightening you now because we started out talking about how to fall asleep and suddenly it sounds a whole lot more complex, doesn't it? Let's bring it back down to basics. Create space. Let's look at the hours before we fall asleep. Number 1, create a sleep ritual. So important. Create a sleep ritual. Write it down. Have it handy. Review it. Assess it. Put it up on a wall. Create a sleep ritual. We are routine animals, and as routine animals, we find comfort in habit and routine. So if each night you have a different routine, I can almost guarantee you're going to struggle to sleep. Create a sleep routine or ritual. What does that mean, a ritual? A ritual is something we repeat at the same time each day or week or whatever it is. The ritual has a spiritual and mindful process and requires particular patterns of behaviour. It often includes particular symbols as well. So you may want to get out a piece of paper now, sit down, let's have a look at the sleep ritual. I've written one for my children. So some of the things I put in it, I don't want to tell you what to do here. I want you to brainstorm and think about what you could possibly put in rather than writing down what I put in. Our sleep ritual starts 3 or 4 hours before bed. 90 minutes before they go to sleep, we become quiet in our house. Now, yes, I can almost hear your laughter, and I'm laughing right now too. Yes, with 4 children, we become quiet. We work towards being quiet. I ask the children 90 minutes before bed to move more slowly. We have salt lamps, and 90 minutes before bed, we turn on the salt lamps. We turn all the harsh lighting off. We close the blinds. We get into comfortable clothing, and that may be slippers, it may be a dressing gown, or whatever it is. But everything we do 90 minutes prior to bed is done more slowly to start cognitively teaching the brain, dear brain, it's time to slow down. Dear brain, we're going to sleep soon. So here's our practice. Like when you start a yoga class, you sit and meditate and lie in a particular pose, asana, before the class. Dear brain, dear spirit, we're preparing for bed. So quieten down. No heavy melodies in music, no bright lighting, and ideally no clutter. I say ideally because we need to be realistic here, don't we? My house with 4 kids, don't you think that it's all together? Because sometimes it looks like a volcano has gone off or a bomb in my house. I can only be the person that I can be in that moment in time. And sometimes I walk around my house and look at my house and go, I'm going to bed now. And it looks like a bomb's hit it because I have to look at the highest priority, the children's sleep, my well-being, and going to sleep. So 90 minutes before bed, quiet. Speak more quietly. Declutter. Perhaps candles or safe candles. Perhaps low lighting. Perhaps music with very little melody, slow music. Turn your phone off, turn the computers off, turn the wireless off. If possible, perhaps that's not possible. It's not possible in this house, but you look at your home, your spirit, your mind. Quieten right down. Notice your mind. We talked yesterday about mind mapping. Notice where your mind goes before sleep. In the last 90 minutes, if you're considering ringing your girlfriend or boyfriend about an issue that bothered you during the day, stop. All you're going to do is energize your mind, and that little mouse of your mind is going to jump back on the treadmill and race and scamper away, and that treadmill is going to go faster and faster, and the mouse is going to go faster and faster. Stop. You need your sleep, my friend. You need it. Get off that treadmill. And if you choose to go on the treadmill because the issue is a really important issue at the moment, then you're not going to go to sleep. There's times I don't sleep and I think, okay, this is the way it's going to be. I'm not going to sleep, I'm going to meditate. And sometimes you just meditate. Sometimes my son comes in late at night and says, Mom, I can't sleep. And I say, well, just rest. And we'll go and do a meditation or we'll say a prayer. Accept the life you have at that time. Okay, we've touched on the 90 minutes before bed. There are other behaviours that we conduct or go through before bed. Brushing your teeth, perhaps having a warm glass or cup of milk, or mug of milk with cinnamon. Nutmeg works really well. If you have a warm glass of milk before bed, make a feature of it. As in, put nutmeg on the top, and maybe you want a piece of dark chocolate to go with it. Maybe it's in your favourite mug. Maybe you sit in a particular chair when you have this milk. Really enhance the ritual, because the ritual will give you comfort. You feel comfortable, you feel happy. You feel happy, you think more clearly, you're more likely to go to sleep. Brushing your teeth, washing your face, your favourite towels, your favourite slippers, clean sheets, that all helps. Now in the bedroom, take the TV out, turn it off. That's not always possible, I know. I know it's not always possible. I have a TV in my room, and one of my thrilling moments in my life is late at night turning on some ridiculous show like CSI. Because the characters lack a level of depth, and I can start to rest from it. Not the ideal approach, but sometimes we do what we do. So ideally, no TV in the bedroom. I like to burn oils, safely of course, before I go to sleep. I scatter lavender on my pillows, and I put lavender on the children's pillows as well. Pure oil, not the compromised oil, so the pure lavender oil. In the room, try and edit your room. So don't have anything in the room apart from what you need. Keep it simple, Sam. So simple colours, very few decorations, no photos in the bedroom. Keep it simple so your bedroom is a place in which your mind can rest. Your bedroom is a place in which your mind can restore. Photos bring back memories, thoughts, feelings, passion. Great. Keep them outside the bedroom. Keep it nice and simple in your room. Simple colour scheme. There's a lot more I can get into with decluttering the bedroom, but I want to keep these podcasts about 30 minutes long so you get little tidbits out of them. Do you have any questions? Because, listen, my friend, I'm sitting here wanting to hear your questions, so send them in to the my email is laurenostroskifenton@gmail.com. Website, Being Well with Lauren. Okay, so declutter the bedroom. I always do some simple stretches and a few minutes of meditation before I go to bed. Again, I don't think it's about doing this massive practice. Do what you can do. Achieve what you can achieve. Make it realistic for you. I sometimes do a bit of meditation in my bed, which I think is not ideal. But as a mum of 4 and the primary provider and the primary carer, I do what I can do. That gives you the basics of improving sleep. There are other areas here. When I talked about creating space physically, is your body well? What do you put into your body? How much do you drink with water? Do you have any sugars? Do you eat any colours? Do you use a microwave? All these things are going to affect your ability to sleep. Do you use processed sauces? I don't, and I really recommend that you don't. So look at your body health. How is your body going to fall into a state of comfortable sleep if you're putting horrible things into it, toxins, etc.? What are you putting into your body? How are you looking after your mind? Do you train your mind? Do you train your mind to be empty and silent? Do you give yourself time to be who you are? Do you know who you are? How can we go to sleep at night when we're always trying to please other people and forgetting ourselves? Of course, we need to please others. And of course, we need to love. And of course, we need to engage. Where's the level, guys? Where's the line in the sand? Last night I went to sleep and I was actually concerned about a particular issue where I felt I'd given to a particular person to the point that I had compromised my sense of self. Yes, give and give and give. But if you give, sacrificing a sense of self, everyone around you may lose. You need to look after yourself first. You need to be kind to yourself. You need to accept yourself and feel compassion. Create physical and mindful space. If you're in a relationship that's really compromising your sense of self, the likelihood that you're going to feel a sense of peace before you go to sleep may be compromised. This all comes down to your sense of peace before bed. Create space physically, create space mindfully. Are you understanding what I mean, or am I explaining myself correctly with physical and mindful space? If your mind is full up with the problems in your relationship, you don't have the room for sleep. If your body is full up with saturated fats, possibly alcohol and sugars, processed sauces, you're not going to fall asleep. If your physical space is full of clutter, of collecting stuff, you're not going to fall asleep. Create the space, my friend, to be yourself. Create the space to have a sense of well-being, and by doing so, we're more likely to give to others. I don't achieve this every day. My life is pretty hectic, and sometimes it's way more than hectic. But every day, in the morning I assess my life, and before I go to bed I assess my life also. When I'm struggling, I write down my issues and I put them in the little box. And I shut the box, and that's where they remain. I gave my daughter little worry dolls, so she gives her worries to the worry dolls and shuts up the box before she goes to sleep. There are a number of other techniques to help us sleep, and perhaps you're sitting there going, but Lauren, you don't know my problems. And I'll say to you, we've all got our story. I feel for you and your story. But what can you do to help yourself sleep? What can you do to increase your comfort before bedtime? What can you do to simplify your life? There's something you can do. There's something out there, and with each something that you achieve, you create the space in your life to be happy. And with each something that you achieve, you create the space in your life to give to others and have an impact upon the world. I care for you. I hope that you're okay. Please write to me. Be well. Be well. Be